Hi, my name is Lisa Butler, and I'm going to be explaining to you how I use Edmodo. Some of it is in a classroom, some of it's working with colleagues, and some of it is just general professional development. The biggest way I use Edmodo is as a blog with my class. So every single day, I tell the students what we're going to be doing, and I'm also able to provide them any links or resources we need. So the post feature, you can just have a text note, but it also allows you to attach PDFs, links, embed codes. And so this is how I'm able to communicate with my classes. I used to have to keep a daily blog for every single one of my classes. Now I can share it with one class, or I could share it with a whole bunch of classes at once. So Edmodo definitely makes it easier to tell the students what we're going to be working on and what they need. So here's a live look at that same class. So you can see up in the post section where it says type your note here, that's where it would let me do file, link, or you also have a library on Edmodo. So I can save a link and use it day after day or even year to year. And when I send to, I could send it to one class, I can send it to all my classes. And I just want to scroll down and point out some of the things that I've been able to do in kind of the blog format. So I have students reply a lot. A lot of times we'll have short writing prompts, and a lot of them choose to do it just on Edmodo. So more links. A newer feature on Edmodo is the reactions. So students can tell me what they thought about the activity, how they felt. Was it hard? Was it challenging? Did they like it? Sometimes I'll provide extra practice. Students reply and let me know when a link doesn't work, which always happens when you're using technology. There's always something that goes wrong. So even more links, different activities. Sometimes, especially around quiz time or homework, the students will have conversations with each other. They cannot send messages to another student, but they can post it to the class and then reply. And here's an example of a quiz on Edmodo. So the directions they had. So this was just a live look at what the blogging function kind of looks like within Edmodo. They call it posting. From the last page, I showed an example of a quiz, and a benefit to using Edmodo is being able to assign, track, and grade work. So you can assign assignments, you can assign quizzes, or you can just go into the calendar and let the students know what they have coming up. So students are able to view the teacher calendars, as well as you can have a separate teacher calendar that I would just use. So sometimes I use this keeping track of what I need to do in the near future, but most of it I use letting students know, okay, this is a new event coming up, or this is just a task that you should be prepared for. So Edmodo offers the week view of the calendar. They also have a month view, so you can go back and see how busy things really were in January. This is just a good way for students and teachers to keep track of things, all in one place. Another way to keep track of progress is there is a grade book, which I'm not going to open, but you can see there's a grade book by every group, as well as badges. So badges are a way to show kind of like digital stickers. If they reach an accomplishment or score perfect or win a review game, I'm able to give them a badge and they know what they're doing really well at. Edmodo provides a space for training and project collaboration. A good way to use this is both the group feature, if it's going to be something more long-term, or if there's a subgroup, I can actually assign a small group within the big group. So I have a small group of students who are going to be presenting at the Pennsylvania Technology Conference in February, and so I had them set up in a small group and they're able to share their work. And this way they're just sharing it with the people going to the conference so they can give each other feedback and see what everyone's doing. I've used this also with teachers. One, we've been working on collaborating. So we can set up a group and then it's just a really easy way to have communication within that small group instead of a long chain of emails that it's hard to follow, and you can also attach resources this way. Beyond my immediate colleagues in the building, I also use Edmodo as part of my personal learning network, or my PLN. On Edmodo, you can join a ton of communities. So they have we have a district community, since we have a district domain. There's a general help community. I teach foreign language, so there's world language community. There's any subject area you can think of. English, ESL, history, elementary, art, everything. And then there's a bunch of different web tools that set up communities within Edmodo to kind of give people a chance to share what they're learning, post questions they have. So the communities, especially the really active communities, are a great place to go and kind of continue learning. And sometimes you find things out that you didn't even know you needed to learn, but it's a good resource. Okay, so this is the look at the world language community, just so you can see the types of conversations that happen. So people post links they like, and there's a button, kind of looks like a blue notebook with a plus, that you can automatically add it to your own library easily and find it later. People also pose questions, how to do something the best. There are PDFs, as long as just general hints. There's also a ton of videos, which is always good. And there are communities on Edmodo for just about everything. So here is just the basic topics, your standard math, language arts, social studies, science, world language, computer tech, career and tech ed, health and PE, creative arts, special ed, college readiness, and professional development. But then, what's really cool is all of the other resources, these subgroups or the websites, the tools that have found a home on Edmodo too, so conversations can continue. So these are all websites, a lot of them you'll probably recognize, that have an Edmodo group. And because there's so many teachers on there, I find that if I have a question about, say, Zondel, if something wasn't working, I'm as likely to get an answer on Zondel right away as I am if I try to email the website, because there's not only the help desk people, but there's also a community of really active teachers who are willing to help each other. Last, but definitely not least, in fact, it's probably one of the most important functions of Edmodo, is overall communication. So I'm able to communicate with my students, and I do this by explaining through the daily blog post what they're going to be doing and any links they need. But students also have an easy and instant way to communicate with the teacher. So to communicate with students, I can post a general note that would go out to the entire class or an individual student or another teacher. Or if I want the students to get something right away, I would send an alert. So alerts, students set up their cell phones to either get a text message or they'll set the alerts to go as an email so they can get the information right away. Like if I need them to bring headphones to class, or if I'm reminding them they have homework. So as a teacher, I can type in any name, either another teacher, a contact I have, or a student, and send a message to them. Students only have the option to send direct messages to teachers. So I switched it to only show direct messages. So you see students a lot of times ask questions like, okay, today was a snow day, what day would tomorrow be when we go back? And this set up extra review sessions, submit answers, ask what work they missed, ask about grades, turn in assignments, and all of that. So it's a really good way for students to be able to communicate with the teacher. It's quick, it's kind of natural from them because they can do it right from their phone, and I'm able to get back to them right away. I can also push out messages to parents. So there's a way for parents to set up an account where they're only connected to their child, not to my entire class, and I can send either text messages or emails to the parents. Edmodo is a course management system, but it also incorporates social media elements. So it's a learning environment that's very familiar to the students. And Edmodo is not the only system to do this. Some alternatives are Schoology and My Big Campus. The three of those, Schoology, My Big Campus, and Edmodo, are specifically for a K-12 environment. They do not have options for the corporate world. Another option for anyone is Ning, and Nings were a lot more popular before they started charging a couple years ago. But all of these offer the same type of environment for people to collaborate, communicate, blog, share resources, and kind of manage learning or manage a conference. If you want more information about how I specifically use Edmodo in my classroom, or just to see more ways that it is used, here's the link to the blog specifically with the tag for Edmodo. Well, I hope this explained generally how I use Edmodo, and you can see exactly the potential. Maybe it's something you can use in the future. Good luck!